One of the things we're always trying to do in our work is to push boundaries and ask questions. We use the word possibility. What are the possibilities in what we're doing? One of the exciting things we get to do in our work is experiment and play. And so J.E.S.S is an opportunity for us to ask some quite big questions in a playful way that just open up a conversation that challenges things that we might otherwise not dare to challenge in our society. And I think each time we do it, we learn. As an arts organisation, we learn about the technology, we learn about the risks, we learn about the opportunities, and that questioning takes us to the next stage of our work. So over the last 5 years, we've definitely started to be more ambitious, to be more creative. We've definitely used more technology in our work, but it's an ever-developing, ever-evolving area. There's so much more to learn. So we're on a good trajectory with this, and it's just opened up so many doors.
J.E.S.S stands for Just Examining Systemic Stereotypes. And that's the whole point of the project, to look at what we look at on our phones when we do DALL-E, when we use any other soft diffusion AI process on our phones or a Google phone and go press a few buttons and then we get an image. And 9 times out of 10, if you put in ballet dancer, you get a slight woman, white, in a tutu. And we wanted to challenge that, and that's how J.E.S.S came about.
I applied for the commission because I think I've been working with AI and data for the longest time. It's almost 6 years on and off that I've been working with different art projects, different design projects, in which AI has been a prominent thing. So I was looking at something to do where I could make it physical and real, because AI usually is on computers, it's on the cloud, it's like this thing that most people don't have access to. So I wanted to make something that's physical in a gallery space, and this exhibit kind of came about, the call came about exactly at the right time, because we were thinking about doing something, and then this call came, and the context of it being a celebration of photography and doing something on the future of photography was like a match made in heaven for us. It came into our lives exactly at the right time.
It was a pretty amazing opportunity to be given to actually be quite critical about AI, and it feels like quite an unusual thing actually in this space. As an artist, a lot of the funding often comes from tech companies, or when you see opportunities as an artist, oftentimes there's some sort of inherent bias behind it. So to get an opportunity to actually create something which is just designed to make people think, it doesn't necessarily present AI in a positive light or a negative light, but it's just really just trying to get a raw take on the way that it works and present that to the public and say, look, this isn't probably not what you're expecting. When you think about AI, what do you think about? Well, hopefully if people have seen J.E.S.S, then they'll maybe think about this, or they'll think about the way that it described it in text, or they'll think about the way that it translated that text into imagery.
It's been great working with J.E.S.S on a day-to-day level. It's been a real education to me, because I haven't really had that much experience with artificial intelligence on that kind of basis. It's been really intriguing to see what she brings up for different photographs of different people, and the different ideas that you have as someone looking at that photograph and she has looking at that photograph. It's been really wonderful seeing our public engage with her, and looking at how that new realm of technology is going to be influencing and affecting all of our lives, but also some of the ways that it is limited and doesn't interpret things the way we do as human beings, and how that kind of evolves in the future will be really interesting.
It started really with just a conversation that we had the first time we actually ever met about the biases of AI, and some of the things that we'd both independently discovered whilst using AI, particularly to generate images. And so we started to think a bit more critically about AI, or we had both been independently thinking critically about AI. We realized we wanted to create an installation that could help the public uncover some of the biases that we'd been discovering ourselves.
J.E.S.S has been a real learning experience, right from the conception of having AI installation in the gallery. It's like, great, have an AI installation, get some artists, it'll be fine, simple. That was really not the case. after attending lots of virtual imperative tech sector events, trying to find someone who would take AI and put it in the public domain and be responsible for that was a very different problem that we didn't even think would be a problem. People were like, I'm not an artist, I'm a technologist. So they just didn't see themselves in an exhibition. And then other people saying, I'm not taking the risk. I don't want my work shown and something going wrong, because we really wanted a closed machine-led environment. But that can't happen, but we got as close as we could.
It was a relatively short timeline for the project, so it was one of those where we really had to be precise about what we were thinking about from early on. And so actually, if I look at the render that I made, or like the early visualizations for the project compared to how it looks now, it's pretty similar to what we were first envisioning. I think what's been less similar than what we first imagined was actually the outcomes from J.E.S.S itself, and the outcomes from the public were something that we couldn't really predict, like the particular interactions that we've gotten from people and the way that visitors to the Higgins have been describing some of the photographs are just not things that you can necessarily predict, and how that compares to what the way that AI describes these photographs. That's been really fascinating for us. And even throughout the development of J.E.S.S, we uncovered all of these other sort of strange biases or quirks of AI that we could never have really anticipated.
So J.E.S.S is built using off-the-shelf AI algorithms. It uses hardware of a computer that you usually find at home, like it's a gaming computer. Nothing runs on the cloud, everything is hosted locally, everything is private, happens in J.E.S S, stays in J.E.S S. What it does is basically exposes or makes a viewer understand how AI photography is constructing photographs. So what it does is it first reads a photograph that would be here. There's a camera in here which detects the photograph, converts it into text, and then uses that text to generate another image. So what it is taking an image, converting it into text, and then generating an image from it again.
It's been amazing, honestly. We felt so supported every step of the way. And there's been a lot of challenges in the building of J.E.S S. I think building any interactive installation is always a challenge, because you have the general public coming and interacting with it, and it has to be really robust, because people will do whatever they can do in every possible combination of ways. And so it has to be a really robust system. And fortunately, Arnab's been incredible with the software and just really thought about every possible eventuality to try and safeguard things. But then the added complication here is using AI, which is this inherently probabilistic model. You know, you can never know exactly what it's going to do, and you can never predict it, and you can put in as many safeguards as you can, but ultimately you don't know exactly how it's going to behave. And so I think that's been a real learning point, is like trying to put every mechanism that we can in place to try and make sure that it's not misused, or to try and make sure that the interaction has the desired effect, rather than people being able to sort of manipulate it, or the AI going off on a tangent. You know, you hear about all these stories in the news where AI will hallucinate things and generate unintended artifacts within the images or within text that it's generating. So it's been a whole combination of challenges, and BCA has really just been incredibly supportive throughout the whole thing, whilst also giving us our freedom to explore and make sure that we were coming up with an interaction that felt powerful, I think, and also, you know, helping us to ideate and like engaging in the creative process as well, and helping us to curate alongside this incredible exhibition. Yeah, it's been a great partnership for sure.
My favorite part is the color on it. I think Fergus did a great job when he first built the first prototype. There was like this color mismatch, and just by painting it in this particular color, it changed the whole vibe of the installation. I think that's my favorite part. I think the other favorite part that I have is just watching people kind of respond to it. I've been working with AI for so long that none of this surprises me. But it's just like when a new person who doesn't even understand the term. I think especially with the museum, like people who are working in the museum who came in when there was just a lull or there was no one, just the museum staff. And having those long conversations with them and seeing it through their eyes was the biggest surprise and the gratification this project brought to me.